Hope the delay was not too long when I got started because I always sit here smiling awkwardly, hoping you can hear me. So, hope you can hear me. So, we are back today. It is the end of July, and I can't even believe that this year has gone by that fast. But here we are. And I have the best people. I see them already in the chat. All my regulars are here, and it always makes me really happy. So, I'm glad you're here. And I posted on social media, I was like really shocked that I've been able to find a different recipe every week for this demo. And to be honest, some of the recipes I find, it's the first time I've ever tried them and I just wing it. So hopefully they turn out fantastic. So today I have a bit of an Asian inspired meal. I don't know how traditional it is, but it's got Asian flavors in it. And I just love Asian cooking is one of my favorite types of food, even though I love all food. I seem to be really into it right now. I've been making a lot of Korean and Japanese recipes to eat, and I have some of those kind of flavors for you today. So we are making. I'll get I'll get the base, but we're making a salad, which is kind of lame considering I think people think vegans just only eat salad. But I had another video with a big salad, so this is a bit of a different one, and we're gonna have some really delicious protein on it, some crispy tofu. So let's go ahead and get started with the best part about salads, which is the salad dressing. So we'll go down to my other screen here. So we have a mix of ingredients. So I'm going to show you kind of what they are. And I'll let my dad know in the chat that you can make friends with salad. But one of the main ingredients is miso. So it sounds like an exotic ingredient, but it's actually really easy to buy. You can get it at Walmart. Pretty much every grocery store has it. And it comes in this little tub like that. And miso is an organic soybean paste, and it is really delicious. It's very strong, but we're going to put it together. And then one of the other main ingredients is tahini, which isn't usually in Asian cooking, but this is to make this creamy. And then we have some vinegars and soy sauce and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have our bowl, and we're going to put our tahini in, and I have my super duper long tahini spoon because tahini is messy. I think I would have a real fight on my hands whether my maple syrup jar or my tahini jar was stickier. I don't know what the consensus would be. So we're just going to actually dump this, but we need about 1/4 cup of tahini. But tahini is awesome in salad dressings because it's got a lot of protein and then it makes stuff creamy without adding like mayonnaise or vegan mayonnaise or something like that. So we have our 1/4 cup of tahini, and then we're going to use 2 tablespoons of the white miso. So if you are not used to miso, just go with 1 tablespoon and see if you like it. And I'm doing these 2 ingredients first because they're the messiest, because miso can be messy too. So it comes with a little lid. I don't think you need to keep that. And then it's a very thick paste. So let's see how clean I can be putting 2 tablespoons of that in. There we go. You have to kind of scoop it out. I don't taste it like that ever. There's no need for you to do that. Just put it in your recipe. Don't gross yourself out. But when you smell it, it does have a very fermented taste. It's almost sweet, actually, a little bit, which is confusing, but it does taste a little bit sweet. And then we're going to use rice vinegar. So again, might not be the most common thing in your household, but it's very cheap and easy to get. Oh, and I see Gus is waving. I'll wave to you in a little bit, Gus. I have some very young fans, but hopefully some good fans. So there's our 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff as we go. And then we have soy sauce. So we're going to use 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, which is good. I thought it was going to be 2 tablespoons, but it's 2 teaspoons. So I have my tablespoon, and 2 teaspoons is like maybe kind of half. So I'm going to eyeball the soy sauce. But this does have probably a bit of a high sodium content if you're watching that, so just be careful. And then we're going to do 1 tablespoon, is it 1 tablespoon of the toasted sesame oil. So sesame oil is like one of my favorites. I'm glad that it's in this recipe. So we're gonna pour that. I'm gonna actually put just a little bit less than a tablespoon because that's a lot of oil. So now we have our main ingredients, and we're gonna have to try to stir this. So I have my mini whisk, if you can see that, my mini whisk. And it goes with, I think I used it last week or the week before, the mini potato masher that my dad there on the chat got me, which is awesome. I love that thing. And I've only had it like a week. Okay, so I'm making a big old mess here, but it's going to be pretty clumpy because of the miso and the tahini, but the liquids will help it come together. There we go. Oh, it's very... So this is probably going to stick together, but we could add a bit of water to this, which I am going to do, just to get it to loosen up a bit, because that's kind of annoying to stir. So you can always do that when you're making recipes. If you have a recipe that you're looking at it and it's like, this is not going to work, just add what you need to add. Or if you taste it and you don't like the flavor, like, recipes are just guidelines. You don't have to be exact. Some stuff you have to be exact, like bread is a little bit more intense. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little squirt of water from the tap. And let's see how that did. So we're going to loosen it up a bit, because we're going to be putting this in a kind of slaw salad. You want it to like actually mix in. There we go. So that's a more acceptable sort of texture. But you'll find with tahini that stuff will like bind up pretty fast. So let's give that a little... Oh yeah, ooh, that's good. With sesame oil and tahini together is good. Okay, so that's our finished product there. And we have a couple of topping ingredients, but let's get our salad going. There we go. So this, I just was lazy and bought some bagged sort of cabbage slaw and cauliflower slaw. You got carrots in there. And you can add, you know, what would be really good in this is some edamame would be great. And so I'm going to, let's actually put some of the dressing on first. So we have our dressing. This is meant for like a whole bag of salad, so I'm only going to put, you know, like a little bit there. And let's mix that up. So just mix it till it gets all included. But again, you can put this on whatever salad you want. This recipe that I'm using is meant for a slaw. And then you'd want to let, especially because this is like a coleslaw type of thing, probably want to leave that to sit for like half an hour in the fridge to let it all kind of soak in. And then just to make it pretty, we're going to put something else on this later. We want to make it nice. Green onion sprinkled on top of stuff always looks nice. So there's our green onion, and I'm going to put, I don't want to tell you this, but I ran out of my everything bagel mix. I have to make some more. Don't tell anybody. I'm very ashamed, but we're just going to put some white sesame seeds on it. So don't tell anyone my secret that I've left my stuff to go empty, my favorite thing. So we're going to sprinkle some white sesame seeds on it. And there, you could eat that just by itself. But we're going to make some really awesome tofu to go on this so that it's more of a meal with some protein. So I'm going to move this back. And we're going to get our burner. I'm going to put it on max right now. So, our tofu. So, tofu, you could do this however you like, but I recently made some Japanese turnips with a butter miso glaze, which turned out amazing. So I wanted to give this a go with some tofu. And I had a colleague of mine who is recently trying to eat some more vegan stuff. So if she's watching this ever, her name is Toyin, and she's pretty great. So her and her partner are trying to eat more vegan food. And they actually found an air fryer recipe and changed whatever the animal protein was to some tofu. And they actually did their tofu sort of nuggets. And it was a baking soda, salt, and pepper mix on the outside. And then they air fried it. So that's what I've done here. And I already ate one of these without the sauce. And the texture was amazing. Sorry, I just want to put my pan on the heat. And so I wanted to bake them to get some good texture. And then what we're going to do is glaze them. So in a glaze, we have some butter. So I've used the Baicel vegan margarine and then a little bit of miso paste and just mix it together. So we don't need any extra oils at all because we already have our butter, but we're going to let the pan get a little bit hot. And then we're just going to let these go until the butter gets nice and shiny. And then these are going to heat up, and that's it. And that's how you do it. When I did the turnips the other day, I had to sort of broil them first and then did the glaze, and it turned out amazing. But the texture on these is awesome. I probably wouldn't eat a whole lot of them just with the baking soda on it. And you could cover them in barbecue sauce and bake them more. Teriyaki, like homemade teriyaki sauce, whatever you want. It's really good to sort of bake or air fry the tofu first if you're not a big fan of the tofu texture. I love the tofu texture, so it doesn't bother me. So I think I can hear my pan crackling. We're gonna see how much noise we make putting this on the stove. All right, so it's pretty hot there. So I am gonna actually turn that down. I just wanted to heat it up. And we're going to get our tofu. And I'm gonna use this little one because I'm just using one pan. We'll just do one piece. But I think the temperature just got crazy. So we're gonna let that cool down a bit and hope my fire alarm doesn't go off. Okay. Oh my gosh. What a rookie mistake on a cooking demo. Okay, so we have a little bit less heat there. I made a lot of this, so I'm just gonna put a little bit because we'll just do one. And you can see even off the heat, it's already going. So let's melt that down. Let's get a little bit more of the butter. Okay. There we go. So let's let that cook down a little bit. And then we're going to throw our things on it and we'll let that cook down. The miso, I had it a little bit cold, so it's clumping up a bit, but usually that will even itself out. So let's see. Yeah, so you can see that the miso is sticking to the tofu, which is what you want. But it's a different texture than the butter for sure, so you're going to get that. Oh, look at that golden piece. So you don't need to do this too long. Again, you don't want it to burn. So now I'm down to about a medium heat, so it would have been smarter to do that appropriately, but I just want to get the pan hot. So you just want to let it go a little bit more. And the butter is keeping things nice and smooth. So we just want to see if both sides can get nice and brown. There we go. Look at that. That's amazing. Hope you can see that in the light. Okay. So the miso is getting a little bit dark on the other side, but we have some nice golden brown pieces of tofu on both sides. So that's kind of what you want. You don't want to let stuff burn, and you just want to heat the tofu through. The butter and the miso, there's no cooking requirements for that. So let's plate this up. That was fast, actually. And there you go. So that's a nice meal. You have a little bit of a hot element and you've got some cool element. You've got crispiness on both sides. You've got some really rich flavors here. And then you have the nice creamy and vinegary dressing over here. So I would say that's a pretty nice balanced meal, which is what you want, right? So we always say that when we're cooking is that you want each bite to have all the flavors of your mouth to make it taste really delicious. And I think we hit the mark here because we've got sour, we've got sweet, savory, spicy. I can't remember all the different flavors, but I think we have them here in this bowl. So let's give it a try. Actually, I'm just going to try the coleslaw by itself first. And then I'll put everything in one bite. That dressing, the sesame oil tahini mix, whatever else you put in it, that is huge, huge flavor. Amazing. I really like that, so I'll make that again. Even just for a regular salad, you can keep that in the fridge. But remember I said the tahini is gonna bind up like when you leave it in the fridge. So whenever you make a tahini dressing, I'm trying to cut this piece of tofu off. If you ever make a tahini dressing and you put it in the fridge, just know that you're going to have to mix water into it the next day. I don't know what's going on in the chat, but I'll catch up later. I wanted to have this bite. So now I have a bit of salad and a bit of my tofu. It kind of just looks like a mess, but sometimes the messy food tastes delicious. So here we go. Oh, so my dad's living on toasted tomato or cucumber sandwiches and mayo. Vegan mayo. That's good too, man. Frank eats those every day for lunch. So this, I'm going to try the tofu by itself. But that bite with the warm tofu and the cool coleslaw, I love that. I eat like all of it. So like, I like the way it looks. You want to make sure it tastes good in every bite. And the texture is important. So the heat is important. All right, let's do this kind of by itself. One last bite. I'm just getting so involved. Here's our tofu. Let's see. So that miso butter glaze is actually it's very rich because of the butter. I guess I don't eat a lot of butter, but if you like that flavor, that's awesome. With the salad, I think lightens up the richness of having the butter fried on it, but really good. That is it. I was just going to keep eating, but you know what? I have to let you guys go. That is it. That is another cheap, easy, healthy, delicious vegan recipe that you can use. And again, use it in many different ways. You can cook some vegetables up in the butter miso glaze. You can have whatever you want on the salad and make it a whole meal salad with this dressing. You can tweak the spices in the dressing. You can do whatever you want. So those are my favorite recipes when you can actually mix and match and do a whole bunch of things with one recipe. So please like this video, share it if you like the recipe, and if you have some time, stick around and watch some other videos and help me work on that YouTube algorithm. Otherwise, plant life people, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks to Gus for waving at me, and have a wonderful day. We'll see you, actually, for the regulars, I will not see you for a few weeks because I'm actually going to be taking a 2-week permaculture course out in the woods. I'll see what I can do about doing something on Instagram, but the YouTube will be postponed unless I can get a miracle going, because I know that the course actually has a wonderful vegan chef that will be there. So maybe I'll talk her into letting me do a demo of her cooking. We shall see. Anyway, that's it. Enjoy your toasted tomato, bacon, vegan cheese, and mayo sandwiches, and have a wonderful night. Bye.